man. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time for the Taking Head Sports Show right here, man. Your boy G Long. What's up, Rashad?
Man, another week of the show. I'm excited and ready to talk about sports.
Man, it's been a awesome week, a great week for sports.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And listen, it continues tonight. It continues tonight. I see you rocking the Orioles hat. Another Orioles hat, which I love. I'm rocking the Orioles hat tonight. So the Orioles, man, they kick off a 4-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays tonight, which is really, really critical in terms of them securing, the AL East lead, actually moving it up. Right now, it's only 2 games. We want to get it at least to maybe 5, right? It gives them some breathing room. Last night, the Orioles took a close-out
Right.
series. And tonight, in a matter of moments, about 10 or 15 minutes, they actually got the game shut, and I'm excited. And then we know primetime football tonight. My Eagles are on against the Vikings. Tonight, I'm excited.
Man, it's been a great week of football. We had week one of football. Man, were there any surprises for you?
I think you have an echo on your end. I don't know if you can hear that. I can hear like a echo on my end. In essence, there was, I really wasn't surprised at the headline, right, for the NFL series. Now, I will say this. I was surprised by how some of the winners, I was surprised by the manner in which they won. I was really I have to be honest, man, I got to start with my own team, right? They just, um, the Eagles just didn't impress me, to be honest with you. Even though we won the game, they did not impress me. Started off really efficient in the first half. Darius Slay with an interception return. I think that put us up 10-0. And then Jalen Hurts hit Devontae Smith on a nice corner route in the end zone. That put us up 16-0. The extra point was actually missed. So I wasn't impressed after that. I felt like the Eagles played in a very lackadaisical manner. I felt like that they just weren't there. I mean, it's easy to say that the Eagles weren't there because of this is the first game of the season. There's not a lot of off-season time in terms of the entire first team squad actually playing together. We know a lot of the starters, a lot of the big names in all of the NFL teams, to be quite honest with you, these guys don't play a lot. After watching the Eagles, after watching the Ravens and some other teams, I kind of dipped in on a lot of the early games. One of the things I really thought about, and actually watching the Jets game as well, one of my initial thoughts was, I wonder if this is going to prompt some of the head coaches in next season to maybe have your starters, some of the bigger names, your A1s, play not an entire game because we don't want to risk injury. And we'll talk about the Aaron Rodgers injury as well. But maybe we want to have these big name players at least play an entire half. Maybe that's the first preseason game. Maybe it's the last one. I don't know. So we can develop some kind of continuity. So we can we can actually get to the point of developing a flow. Because to be honest with you, there wasn't a flow. There wasn't a flow in a lot of the games that I watched. Most of your starters are not playing with the first teamers at all. And what if you are a new quarterback going to a new team? You haven't actually played at game speed with 10 other guys that you're going to play the remainder of the season with. And I think that a lot of coaches are actually doing themselves a disservice. Again, I understand the importance of injury. I do. You don't want to send your starters out and get injured, right? Football is a very violent game. However, I don't like what I'm seeing because it just wasn't a flow. My Eagles, there just wasn't a flow. After Philly went up 16-0, there wasn't a flow. Jalen Hurts looked average. The defense helped us out in the second half, making a few big stops and a few big plays, and it just wasn't a flow. I really wasn't feeling it. Your Ravens, there really wasn't a flow. I mean, nobody, to be honest with you, Lamar Jackson just did appear to be in sync, right? This is his first live action with Zay Flowers, and Zay Flowers, he has the ability to be tremendous. I'm going to be honest. Cat-like quickness. I think he's going to be a perennial Pro Bowler. I do, but it really wasn't that much of a flow. And when we have these starters and sort of the A1s, the big name, superstar, household name guys, not playing, it just doesn't flow. And again, it's a great thing that your Ravens, my Eagles, some other teams, we walked away with wins, but it's not how you always want to win, right? And come out unscathed in terms of
Right.
injury. But I would like to see a bigger flow. What were some of your thoughts from the first week of the season?
I agree with actually everything that you just said, but especially for my Ravens, I believe that once they get more games under their belt, that the chemistry will be there.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that Odell Beckham and Lamar Jackson will be one of the top duos in the league once they get that chemistry together. And being that Lamar didn't have his number one target that he's used to going to, his safety blanket,
Mm-hmm.
um, Mark Andrews, you know, we still walked away with the win. And I would say for our defense, we're so keen on not giving up the big play that we leave the middle open and we set it so our linebackers will make the tackles. That's why you saw that Roquan Smith, he had 16 tackles and Patrick Queen had 11 tackles. So that's 27 tackles between two players.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're so scared of giving up that big play
Yep.
over the middle. I mean, over the top. And at the end of the day, you can't allow a team to nickel and dime you to death. Because if we would have played a better team, that could have went a whole nother way. Because we actually should have shut out the Texans. They got 3 field goals, and we would get them down to it'd be third down, and they would do that little short pass and get a first down. And they kept doing that, and that got them into field goal range on 3 different possessions, which we should have shut them out. We gave up 28 completions to a rookie quarterback. That shouldn't be happening. We need
Mm.
to, not just shut down the long ball, but we need to stop that in the middle type stuff as well.
What are your thoughts on J.K. Dobbins? J.K., had some concerns in the offseason contract, some
Hmm.
injuries. Injured last year, comes back, and then he's out again. What are your thoughts on him and the impact that it will have on your squad?
First of all, my thoughts and prayers are definitely with him, because he worked so hard to
Hmm.
get back. Of course, he was out of the entire 2021. He was out. Then he came back last year and played like half the season, and he was looking forward to going full strength this year. And then to get hurt, on the first week, that's a big blow. But I do believe that our backup running backs will definitely be able to fill in and carry the load that J.K. Dobbins, was going to carry. I believe that they will be able to handle that.
Hmm. I'm like you. My sentiments are in line with you. I think the uh, Hill and Edwards, right?
Justice Hill and Gus Edwards.
I think that Hill and Edwards will be a formidable tandem, right? And actually pick up for the slack for J.K. Dobbins. I guess when I actually
Hmm.
saw that he was gone for the season again, I guess there's a part of me as a sports fan that I actually watched the game. But again, I think it's a part of me as a fan, and then the mental health, being the therapist part of me, enters into it.
Oh
I
yeah,
watch guys work hard, get into shape, the off season, and then you get hurt right in the first game of the season and you're out. And from a mental health perspective, my thought is like, wow, that has to be heartbreaking, right? So we talk about A Rod, right? 4 plays in, he
hmm
was, and
four.
by all accounts, he's the greatest quarterback in the history of the Jets franchise. And he was, the missing piece to this puzzle that will potentially take them to a deep playoff run and or a Super Bowl. And now he's gone 4 plays into
Hmm.
it. And I'm not necessarily a Rodgers fan, right? But my part of me as a therapist, it kicked in, and I was like, wow, I wonder what this looks like from a mental health perspective. You're gone, and now you literally have to mentally, you have to lock in, not to actually go into the field and play, but you have to mentally lock into rehab, the uncertainty of it all, right? As your
Mm,
teammates play, you can't get out on the field. It's I shoulda, I woulda, shoulda, coulda. You kind of go through these thoughts in your mind, and cognitively, man, that's like I can't imagine what that is like. And we're not talking about the 15th or 16th game, bro. We're talking
right.
about the first game. You didn't even get 2 series. Like you're 4 plays in, and it's like, man, this has to be heartbreaking. So that's the part of it that I wonder, and I always tell people, I think as fans we forget the mental health part that goes into being a top-notch athlete
Right.
on this world stage. And hey, everybody in the world saw what happened. And it's like, man, that's hard to bounce back. That's hard really to bounce back from. And then you have to watch it and you hear about it and they're talking about it ad nauseum. So
Right.
that's really hard to see guys go out like that, that have worked so hard.
Yes, definitely. He was four plays in,
Yeah.
and tore his Achilles tendon, and he's out for the year. Now that brings us to people are always back and forth saying that grass turf is better than artificial turf.
Ah.
Now there are some numbers to back that up.
Mm-hmm.
There are some numbers to back that up. Now, if you go to allsportsmatters.com, it says that these are from the NFL players. 89%, 89.1% of NFL players think that artificial turf
Mm.
causes more soreness and fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you have that 89.7% of NFL players think that artificial turf is more likely to shorten their career.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you had that going on, and I believe that it did play a part in his injury,
Mm-hmm.
but the impact that it has on the Jets actually, I think, would be a positive impact.
You
Let
think
me give
so?
my reasons for that.
I love to hear it because you
Now,
sound like a Zach Wilson fan.
now I'm not really a Zach Wilson fan, but their defense, man, that Jets defense, they actually remind me of the 2000 Ravens defense just a little bit. Just
Okay.
a little bit. Now, when Zach Wilson came in, he didn't have to go in and try to throw the ball down the field like Aaron Rodgers, make pinpoint passes like Aaron Rodgers. He came in as a game manager. He came in like that's that Trent Dilfer role. Trent Dilfer was a game manager for the Ravens. Don't turn the ball over, play smart. If it's not there, don't, try to force anything. And that's basically what Zach Wilson did.
Here's
And
the
they put him
difference.
in position to win.
Here's the difference. I'll challenge you with, and a part of my question is yet to be seen. But I'll challenge you with that Ravens defense was historical in nature. It was, I mean,
Yes, it was.
historical, right? It's right up there with the '85 Bears and some other defenses. So there's this historical component that's associated with that
Hmm.
defense. Do you foresee this Jets defense having that long lasting impact this year?
No, it has to be more than one game. I was just saying for that one game,
Yeah,
they
yeah. What I'm
played
saying,
stifling defense.
well, I'll rephrase my question this way. Do you think that Jets defense has a sustainability to do this throughout the course of an entire season?
Actually, I would say yes for right
Okay.
now. I would say yes. And then we can definitely, I know we're going to revisit that later in the season,
Okay.
whether they, keep it up or not.
I am under the
But
impression the Jets defense is really strong. And the reason why I asked that question, G, is I think that when you talk about Trent Dilfer in game manager, right? So Trent Dilfer, Zach Wilson, they're certainly comparable in saying these guys could be game managers. However, that Ravens defense was so above and beyond the average defense. And I don't know that the Jets can do that over a course of time. You know, they have some talent, but like that Ravens defense was like, I mean, it was phenomenal. Like literally they could have won games if you gave them 10 points, 7.
Right.
That's a big ask of a team. And one of the Jets, I can't think of the guy's name, he actually said, man, this defense has the potential to be up there with the 85 Bears and the Ravens. And that's a big statement. That's a big statement. Now, if they do that, then sure.
That is a big statement.
Yeah, now sure, if they do that, then Zach Wilson has to manage the game. But that's a lot to ask of, that's a lot to ask of this defense. And I would be interesting in seeing what that would look like if we did sort of a analysis of let's take person for person on that Raven squad and put them up on the Jet squad. I think that Raven squad, that's a different breed. I mean, they had Ray Lewis, Hall of Fame.
Definitely.
If I'm correct, they had Rod Woodson.
Ed Reed.
No, Ed wasn't on that squad. No, Ed wasn't on that squad. So we're talking about.
You sure?
Was Ed on that? No. That was prior.
No.
Prior. Yeah, Ed wasn't on that squad. Yeah, because the safety at that time was.
I believe Dion was on there.
No. Dion wasn't on that squad. No. So we're talking about the Baltimore Bullies. We're talking about that squad that ESPN did the 30 for 30. Saragusa. Let's see. Saragusa was on that team. You had Ray Lewis going up the middle. You had your cornerbacks. You had why is this squad? Yeah, so you had that was a Shannon Sharp offense, Saragusa, Jamal Lewis, Rod Woodson. That was that squad. And that was just like phenomenal, man. That squad was phenomenal. And so
Chris McAllister.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking about. Chris McAllister. I think you had Starks on the other side. So you had Starks.
Yeah, Dwayne Starks.
Yeah, and McAllister. I mean, just crazy cornerback combination. So when you talk
about Wilson was on there.
Yeah. So when you're talking about the Jets, the question now, like again, we don't know if these guys are going to be Hall of Famers. Some of them are early on a career. Sauce Gardner. It's like, do they have that to sustain it over 17 games? Because if they can. All right, let's roll with Zach Wilson. Now, I'm gonna be honest. If I'm a Jet fan, my thought at this point is let's go out and let's get another veteran backup. Let's continue to roll with Zach Wilson because he's the guy in there. He's already familiar with the system, and hopefully Rodgers acclimated him more to the system, provided some mentorship, provided a certain amount of toolage to help him grow. But we need a backup. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If I am in the Jets, upper management, I'm going to go ahead and place a text. Hey, Tom, just to let you know, this is Jets management. You still want to come out of retirement? I'm going to call Tom Brady. I am. I'm going to call Tom. If Tom, I'm going to shoot him a barrage of text messages. I'm going to slide in his DM. Hey, Tom, man, we need to make this happen. I am. I'm going to.
He's not coming out.
I would ask.
He's not coming out of retirement.
I would ask. I really would. I really, really would ask. Because I think Zach Wilson, let's leave him in. Because if you rip him out now, I think now it would be more of a gut punch to his confidence. I think last year he probably suffered confidence issues. You bring in this quarterback, Rodgers, and then I think his confidence was able to grow because he was on the back end. It wasn't as much pressure. All right, the pressure is on you.
Right.
Four-time NFL MVP. Pressure's on you, one of the GOATs. I can learn, and my anxiety level is significantly decreased because I don't have the pressure. Now he's thrust into a pressure-packed situation. We know what New York media is like, G-Long. So, they'll be on this team. We know what the fans are like. So, but I would still get somebody else just in case he gets injured, right? So I'm going after
Right.
somebody. Who would you consider, if you were a Jets fan and Jets management, who would you consider going
Mm.
after to help?
I know the only person out there is Tom Brady, who's retired. But I know Colin Kaepernick's people had reached out
Mm-hmm.
to the Jets to let them know that he was available and interested. But
Mm-hmm.
they came back and said that they would not be, pursuing Colin Kaepernick.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, if you really don't have a backup, having Colin Kaepernick, who even though he's been out the league for some years now, he may
Mm-hmm.
be a little rusty. I don't think that that's a bad, backup to have just in case, because I'm sure that he can work himself back into playing shape, even though he keeps himself in phenomenal shape. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure as he works with the coaching staff and things like that, that he would be game ready if it
Mm-hmm.
came to that point where he had to get out there and take a couple snaps.
I'm all in favor. I was thinking Kaepernick, right? But let's think about it. When we not we if the team brings in Kaepernick, they are literally opening themselves to
Oh, you already know.
a lot of unwanted attention, right? The controversy, that level spikes. And
And
then
unnecessary.
yeah, I think the NFL owners, I still think the NFL owners are a tight knit group. It's a mini gang, and hey, you know what? I don't want to disappoint my brothers, right? In terms of NFL ownership, I don't want to disappoint my brothers by
Right.
being the one that brings him in because it's such a tight knit group, right? But I would love to see Kaepernick get a spot, right? And then New York, the media, I think it would be great, but I don't think it's happening. But injuries are a major thing, man. Injuries are a major thing. And to kind of go back to some of the statistics that you showed earlier, I think that eventually the NFL is going to gravitate towards all natural fields. As an Eagles fan, I remember
Going back.
stadium in
Hmm.
Philadelphia and all the injuries that was suffered Veterans Stadium, right? Knees, Achilles, all of these different things because Veteran
Right.
Stadium was in horrific condition. So I think eventually we will see all natural fields, right? And I don't know if this was just the field. I think that the turf in New York played a part of it. I do, but I think it was just it was an awkward movement. Foot gets stuck. The potential was there for it to happen on natural
Right.
well. So
And thinking about as we're going into week two of the NFL season, what important games do you believe are coming up? What games do you deem important?
okay. Well, I'm a little bit biased, right? I think the game tonight is important for Philly.
Hmm.
Right? You know, I had to mention that I'm biased. I think it's important for Philly because Philly needs to see the offense click. They need to see Jalen Hurts running the offense with such a flow like he had last year when he was in the MVP race, probably up until the final, maybe week 14 to 15, suffered the shoulder injury. So we need to see a flow there. And it would be great for the Eagles to, on a shortened week, right, nationally televised game, to put up 30 points. And that's my early prediction, the Eagles 30-17. I would like to see that flow. Now,
Hmm.
to bring it more local and then kind of talk about your boys, I think it's an important game
Hmm.
for the Ravens. I really do.
Definitely.
If the Ravens beat the Bengals, now we talk about a team that was, by all accounts, a lot of people favored them to win the AFC North. They are now 0-2.
Right.
It puts a lot of pressure on Joe Barrow, Jamar Chase, these guys to do something else. You're starting in the hole 0-2 with a loss to a division rival. I think if the Ravens can secure a win on the road, man, it gives them a lot of confidence. And I think for the Ravens, I think it's important that they get off to in this game to a good start because we can always say, all right,
Right.
we won against the Texans, we won, rookie quarterback. I'm inclined to believe that if that was against a veteran quarterback, I don't know what the Ravens would have looked like. I don't know if they would have won that game. So if they can again get this flow and beat the Bengals, I think it would be huge because again, the Bengals and the Ravens are the two teams that most people had to win the AFC North. And then I think another interesting
Right.
in that division, and then I want to toss it to you. If I stand to be if I'm correct, I'm almost certain that the Browns and the Steelers play this week. I'm almost certain
Yes.
that they play this week. I believe it's on Monday night. Next Monday night. Is that correct? I believe because Monday night we have a doubleheader next Monday night, I believe. And here's the interesting thing about that game. One of those two teams, AFC North, is going to start off 0-2, and one of those is going to be a loss within the division. So those are kind of the games that I'm looking forward to. How about you?
Definitely the two that you just said. And also an important game is the Washington Commanders versus the Buffalo Bills.
Mm.
Now, the reason I say that is because
The Commanders have the Broncos this week in Denver. So Buffalo actually has the Raiders at home.
is my schedule wrong?
So maybe you're in
Yeah.
a different. Let's see. Yeah. So this week, oh, you're actually in week 3. So week 2, we have Buffalo actually at home against the Raiders, and then we have the Commanders on the road against the Broncos. And I actually like the Broncos to get a win this week. I do.
Now I'm already on week 3. You can tell I'm excited for football.
No, listen, stay within week 2 because this is a big game for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a big game for us to show if we have to make sure that we get our chemistry and our offensive flow together, and actually playing against a big time quarterback like Joe Burrow will put a lot of pressure, a lot of much needed pressure, real time, game time pressure on our defense. We have to make sure that we not only pay attention to the over the top stuff, but that short stuff. Even though Joe Burrow, we know he has a cannon of an arm, so he's going to test us several times. So if that happens, that's going to really get us on our toes. If he makes a couple completions down the field, and then that's going to really, unfortunately, open up that middle, and then it's going to open up the running game for the Bengals. So this is a big game for the Ravens in game 2. Week 2, our defense really has to step up, and I believe that our offense will be clicking just a little bit better in week 2. And also, I know that Odell Beckham, he only had 2 receptions in game 1,
Yep.
but his impact is not just exemplified on his receptions; it's his presence because he drew 2 pass interference calls that were big plays just by him being on the field. They have to always be accountable to him and where he's at on the field because he's an excellent route runner. So just him being out there makes a big difference.
Yeah.
A big difference.
What do you think the challenge has been, let's say over the last maybe 3 or 4 years with the Ravens not being able to, it feels like, beat the Bengals in, I guess every game is big in the NFL, right? You only have 17. But what do you think the challenge has been? It feels like the Ravens, when it's important, like the Ravens just can't, they're right there. Like even last year, right? It just can't seem to get over that Bengals hump sometimes.
Playing against like such a great quarterback always gives us problems. When we play against, high level quarterbacks, it gives the Ravens problems. So it's not that when we play against rookie quarterbacks or lower tier quarterbacks, that's not what gives us problems. But I believe that this year that we will be able to we have the key to shut down Joe Burrow because actually from what I saw from the first game is once Joe secured the bag, Joe is not really playing like the Joe of old, which
Mm,
can be a bad thing. You know, sometimes when we secure the bag, we feel like we don't have to do what we've been doing
mm,
in order to secure the bag. So I believe that this year, actually, Sunday, you will see how the tables will turn in the Ravens' favor. We'll be able to shut down his long, deep passes, his intermediate passes, and force the Bengals to have to try to rely on the run, which we will be able to shut down.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's listen, I think it's going to be a dogfight, right? As cliche as that term is, I think that's actually going to be a dogfight. The Bengals were awful, right? The Bengals were flat out awful in week one. I think Barrow wasn't his true self, right? I don't know if the calf injury fully healed against a division rival at home, first home game. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think Jamar Chase always has big games against the Ravens, and it's really going to be
Hmm.
a challenge. And to be honest with you, I think Lamar is going to play a lot better, right? I think Lamar's going to play a lot better. I think OBJ will be more involved. I don't know the situation with Mark Andrews, but I would suspect that they would get more tight end play. And if Mark Andrews is involved, we know the chemistry that he and Lamar Jackson had, right? So I think that, to be honest with you, man, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think both offenses are going to come to play, and it's going to be a test. And it may come down, don't quote me, but it may come down to
Hmm.
the last team that has the ball. But I think both quarterbacks are going to play much, much better. And I think the big names from both teams will show up in the box score much more than they did in week one. But it's a big game, man. It's a big game, big game. Again, man, the AFC North, everybody is battling, right? And so who wins this?
Right,
Both teams, if what Cincinnati wins, be 1-1. Baltimore will be 1-1, but it's 1-0 within the division, which is always a
right.
big. Um,
Division games are
yeah,
big, man.
yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Division games are definitely big.
Yeah, absolutely.
And switching gears kind of onto the college scene. You know, there's some important games coming up actually in college football, and I believe that one of them will be Colorado against Colorado State.
Mm,
Now, why do I say this is going to be a big game? First of all, you have Deion Sanders, who took over the coaching job for Colorado. A team that was a losing program before he got there. Now they are 2-0 right now.
mm-hmm.
Not saying whip de doo they're going to win. The college championship. I'm not saying that, but this was a team. Even when he took over, they projected to only win
Mm-hmm.
4 to 5 games. 4 to 5. Now Saturday, I believe they will win their third game and they'll be 3-0. They'll be 3-0, and not only that, his son, who's the starting quarterback. He was the starting quarterback at Jackson State, which was a HBCU. So all the media mongols and supposedly media mongols, sports broadcast, oh, we'll see. This is a new league. He's not going to be able to do what he was doing at Jackson State. But fast forward, you go to week one against TCU. He throws for 510 yards. Then week two against Nebraska, he throws for 393 yards, which is, you average that out, that's a little over 400 passing yards per game. So I'm definitely looking at that Colorado and Colorado State game as a big game, as the big important game for
Yeah.
this weekend to prove all the haters wrong. They hating on Deion Sanders. I'm gonna be honest with you. They hating on the dude. They don't like his swag. He's supposed to be, the quote unquote born uh college coach like everybody. He's just being himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's being himself, and let that man be himself. He's doing a great job. He's motivating his team, and he's not doing nothing that's arrogant or anything like that. Deion Sanders been in the prime. He's been in the prime time in the limelight for about what 30, 40 years. This is who Deion is.
As in the words
That's
of Deion
that's
Sanders, I've been him. Yeah, Deion has been him, as you stated, what 30 years, probably longer. He said he was the man in Pee Wee League football, and I'm inclined to believe that. So
I
I'm
believe that.
fine with you, G. I think that this Colorado State game is going to be big, right? In state rival. I think prior to today that it was still going to be important. Again, some of these big media outlets, ESPN First Take is going to be there tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe College Game Day, ESPN is going to be there on Saturday. It is a prime time 10 p.m. game, 10 p.m. here on the East Coast. And so a lot of people will be up late to watch Coach Prime and Buffalo. And as you stated, a lot of people still haven't been aware enough or receptive enough that Deion Sanders is going to be Deion Sanders. He has always moved to the beat of his own drum, but it seems to work. Everything he touches is gold, not just as a player, right? It's
Right.
but as it relates to social media and bigger picture thinking, coaching. This guy, as in this coaching career, I think he was very successful when he was coaching Shador in high school in Texas. Now, Jackson State, we know what that looks like. And then, right, he's Colorado, major college football program. He's going to be successful here, off to a 2-0 start. They will be 3-0. And now the stakes are heightened a little bit more. Colorado State coach makes these comments, you want to be respectful, take off your hat and glasses. Deion Sanders has his own style.
Oh, man.
I'm going to watch the game because Colorado State has some kids that can really ball. Travis Hunter, Shador, these guys will be, barring major injuries, it looks like they may be first-round NFL picks. I am going to watch the game because of the Deion Sanders factor. The Deion Sanders factor is, will he come out with the team wearing, hats and glasses, some of the assistant coaches? Like, I'm all for the extra stuff. Lord forgive me, I am. I'm all for the extra stuff. I think it's cool. Will he meet the coach, G, at the end of the game at the 50-yard line, and will he be like, sarcastic Deion, take the glasses off, take the hat off? Will he switch the hat and glasses, toward the end of the game? I mean, it's going to be interesting. So you remember that Deion Sanders actually had this interesting exchange with I want to say, was this the son of Grambling's coach, and it's slipping my mind, Eddie Robinson? Was this, he had this exchange when he was at Grambling State where, you familiar with that? And again, I think that's a direct Deion Sanders effect, right? Because people have a difficult time adjusting to what's new. Deion is new.
Right.
He comes out, in better swag than, his players. I mean, it's just Deion, right? Gold chain. This is Deion. And I'm going to watch, again, there's some guys that can really play, but I'm going to see if Deion Sanders puts that additional twist on it. So I'll stay up late to watch that.
I definitely believe he's going to put that Deion special twist on it. I believe he's going to. He might even put a hat and glasses on the other coach.
Yeah.
Or hand him a hat and some glasses.
Yeah, that's just the Deion effect, right? And I am. As long as you are not demeaning, right, intentionally bringing any harm to anybody else, I mean, your personality, let your personality be your personality, right? And that's Deion's personality. He loves the limelight. The cameras are always his friend. I don't think he's ever met a camera or microphone that he's, shied away from. I mean, this is Deion, and it's going to be interesting. And, college kids are really creative. They are really creative. So I would not be surprised if you have some college kids that, all of them in the stands with hats, and you see 10,000 college kids with black sunglasses on at night. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. This is what college kids do. And the signs are going to be funny. I mean, I think it's going to be great.
I definitely do as well. And switching gears a little bit, we always have our little thumbs up, thumbs down segment. And for the people watching, I always like to give them, the rules of thumbs up, thumbs down. The thumbs up would be if you agree with the comment, if you agree with the statement. The thumbs down would be if you disagree with the statement. Now, this has been going on in the NBA world right here. Does the signing of Christian Wood make the Lakers the team to beat in the West? Now, a lot of the sports commentators have been saying, this is a great signing for the Lakers. He's going to make the difference for them. He's going to put them over the top.
Mm.
He's going to put them over top of teams like Phoenix, um, teams like Denver, and I disagree with that. So I'm definitely going to have to give that the thumbs down. And the reason I give that the thumbs down, yes, Christian Wood is a great player. He's a great scorer. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's a stretch big. He plays the 4 and the 5. He can hit the 3 with ease. Actually, last year for the Dallas Mavericks, he shot about 43% on catch and shoot threes. 43% on catch and shoot threes, which is very good. That's good for even a guard. And this guy's a 4 and a 5. Now, this is where it can be a good thing for the Lakers. Now, if you put him at the 4 or the 5, that opens up the lane for you could either post up AD and you won't be able to double team AD because he can kick it out to Christian Wood for the wide open jump shot. And also, you can move all 5 players out, and that opens up the lane for LeBron James. If you have shooters around LeBron, normally they had put in a center who can't shoot. But Christian Wood is a center who can shoot. So that'll open up the lane for LeBron. He can, impose his will and drive to the hole. You score or draw fouls or whatever, facilitate. So those are the positives.
Mm-hmm.
Those are definitely the positives for signing Christian Wood.
Mm-hmm.
But the down part is he's a defensive liability.
Mm-hmm.
He can score, but he can't play defense.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that help your team if you have a 5 out there and Christian Wood who can't guard anybody down low? And if that's the case, the teams are going to dump the ball if they have a post player, dump it down to them. And that way, if he can't guard them, they're going to have to switch AD onto them, and which is going to get AD into foul trouble. Mm-hmm. And that's not a good situation to be in if you're getting AD in foul trouble because Christian Wood cannot guard anybody down low. So I would say that it's a thumbs down. They're not going to be over Phoenix. They're not going to be over the defending champion Denver Nuggets. They're not even going to be the best team in Los Angeles. You have the Clippers who they still have to deal with. So I would definitely have to give that a thumbs down. Definitely.
I'm going to go with you. Thumbs down that Christian Wood makes the Lakers a team to beat in the West. And I wish, I want to be a politician, I guess, because I wonder if I could do one of these numbers, like be right in the middle, because it won't go over the top. So I certainly can't give him a thumbs up. And he's a good ball player. I would say thumbs down because it doesn't put him over the top. However, I think this makes this Laker team a lot better, right? I think Anthony Davis has needed another big to work with him to coincide his skill set, right? So I think we're entering LeBron's 21st year. And I think that as LeBron continues to go on, LeBron is going to be even more of a facilitator, right? And Anthony Davis needs to take it up another level. And this has always been a thing of Anthony Davis. Number one, can he stay healthy? And then what Anthony Davis are you going to get? Are you going to get this Anthony Davis that is extremely motivated? And if he's motivated and healthy, then you are dealing with the beast. However, the motivated portion, and again, I'm saying motivated looking at it from afar. I don't want to say that he's not motivated because I don't know him, but just looking at it from afar, that much talent, and you are not like one of the top 3 ball players every year, that's very confusing to me. And when he was at his A game back in the bubble, what happens? The Lakers win a chip. So I don't think it puts him over the top. I think it helps out Anthony Davis a lot. Another big. I think Christian Wood was around 15 to 16 points, if I remember correctly. Another person that can block shots. I think it makes the Lakers team a lot better. Now, I don't think that the Lakers at this stage, I don't think that the Lakers are at a position right now. I would have to see something differently once the season actually starts. They're at the position where they can beat the Nuggets, right? I think that Nuggets team is, Jamal Murray, another season where he'll be completely healthy. The Joker is just, the Joker has the most interesting game in the NBA because it's super effective and it looks like something from like Hoosiers. Like I watched the movie Hoosiers. It's no athleticism, but he will cook you. He will cook you and give you a triple-double.
Yes, he will.
And it's just like, interesting shot. So, I mean, my man is like a different breed, just a different breed. And I don't think the Lakers are over them with this Christian Wood signing. However, I could see the Lakers contending for the West. I can. To be honest with you, I think the Lakers are going to be the best team in LA. I think the Lakers will be better than the Clippers. I've never been sold on the Clippers. I've never been sold on Paul George. I haven't. Never been sold on Paul George. And Kawhi is just such an oddity. He's just such an oddity. I mean, great player. And just like, he's in street clothes more than he's in a Clippers uniform. So it's just like a really, really odd. This is odd. It's just a quick side note. I just saw last night that the NBA is actually doing something as it relates to superstars sitting out. It's a whole.
They are.
And I think that's great for the fans. I really think it's great for the fans. You tune on, you rush home, you buy tickets for you and your kid, and you go to the game, and he's on the bench. It's like, that's not. That's not it. And this other side note, then I'll turn it over to you. This is one of the reasons why I've always liked LeBron James. And I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. But he has always placed so much effort on playing, and the fans, he really understands that, man, I'm here because of the fans. And he loves the game. And if LeBron can play, he will play. So that's it. I digress.
Yeah, they actually did set a new rule where 2 superstars cannot sit out at the same time.
Yep.
So you won't have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard sitting out at the same time. And that's why I actually say that, they will be the number 1 team in LA. Because if they are healthy, that's a big if though. If they are healthy, I believe that they are a better team than the Lakers. Because you still have Westbrook. Who's to say that Westbrook can't get back to form, or close to form? He doesn't have to be MVP Westbrook, but he just has to be a serviceable Westbrook.
I actually, it's something about the Lakers team that I watched last year that I felt like that there was some chemistry starting to happen. I felt like that there was just some chemistry starting to happen. I really did. And I love Austin Reeves. I mean, I just love, I love the story. I love how hard he plays. So it's something about that Lakers team that if you can get AD healthy, LeBron healthy, that they could be a big, big problem. Again, I don't know if they have enough to come out of the West, but if they did, it wouldn't shock me. It really did. And I think they'll be a better team. I think they'll be a better team than the Clippers.
And while we're still on basketball, let's talk a little bit about the FIBA World Games. The United States, the U.S. team didn't even medal this year, finishing in 4th place.
That's not
now. Good. What are your thoughts about that?
Not.
You laughing?
I'm laughing because it's like, gee, this is not what I'm accustomed to. I think after they suffered the first loss, it was like, okay, we'll still come home with the gold medal. Coming home with nothing, I don't think that's an accurate representation of the talent pool that still exists in the United States and within the NBA. And I think Gilbert Arenas just put out a really hilarious post that he saw that LeBron is like, hey, guys, let's, next time this comes around, let's go do what we know how to do, right? And just the level of talent that you still have that you can send over there, it's no way that if you are sending,
Right.
you're sending even an aging LeBron. I mean, you're sending maybe an AD. You're sending, and I'm just rattling out some names here: Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, a Tatum. It's like a Jaylen Brown. I'm just kind of throwing out these names. Like you sending and let's send the best of the best too. Let's send the Stephs, the Clays. It's like it's no way that we would lose, but I think it's really embarrassing, and I don't think it's an indication that the world globally has caught up with the talent grown in the United States. I don't. I think if we send the best of the best, I think we're going to win every time. Like my brain goes back to the Dream Team, 1992, greatest basketball team ever assembled since Dr. James Naismith invented the game. And we're guys that are, really good, but they're not the best of the best. Let's send the best of the best and let's win. And here's the other very interesting thing, and then I'll turn it over to you. I think for some of the guys that declined for a variety of reasons, right? They wanted to get themselves healthy, off season, spend time with family. I get all that. I know it's a tremendous amount of pressure on their body and mind to play basically with very little break because the NBA season will literally be started before you think. But I think some of those names watched this and it was like, man, this is a representation of the country. I'll have to make this sacrifice and go back and bring home gold. Those are my thoughts on it. But right now, it's not good.
See, but the thing is, the FIBA World Games and the Olympics are two totally separate things. Now, a lot of NBA players, they don't want to play in the FIBA World Games because it's not. They don't consider it. I'm gonna say the granddaddy of it all.
Mm-hmm.
The Olympics is where they want to play because they figure that we're automatic. We could send they could send me and you over there to play the 1 and the 2 with a bunch of NBA players, and they feel that we're going to, get some type of medal. They feel as long as we qualify for the Olympics, okay, let these guys, let the B team do this job, get us in the Olympics, and then we'll go ahead and finish the job, on a big stage.
Yeah,
that's how they look at it.
I just don't like it. I just don't like it. And then seeing that we lost, and nothing against Canada, right? Canada's a great place, but just losing to anybody, and like we didn't even bring home a bronze.
You had Dylan Brooks looking like prime MJ out there, man. Come on,
Brooks had 39 points. Like Dylan Brooks had 39. And again, I'm never going to throw a shot at somebody that's doing something that I can't. Like Dylan Brooks, by all accounts, my man is in the NBA, right? And he's really solid by NBA standards, but I don't think that Dylan Brooks should be dropping 39 points. Like Dylan Brooks is not going to drop 39 points on a team with Tatum, Braun, Brown, KD. It's like, no, like, come on, guys. Like, come on.
He had 39. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who's a beast, who's a baller that we know.
He's a young beast.
He had 31. And then the New York Knicks, R.J. Barrett had 23. So we sent the NBA team over there, but these other teams had NBA teams as well.
Yeah, it's SGA. My man can ball. Like
yes, he can, man.
Can ball. Oklahoma's OKC got a really good young player. Man, I think he's going to be like an NBA All-Star.
Clippers.
every year.
Clippers messed up on that one. Wasn't he included in the Paul George trade?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of the things, really quick, that I always find interesting about sports is somebody gets traded and instantly it just new environment, more playing time, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
they just take off, and we don't even
Yep.
remember the previous version of them because the second version of them is like, oh, like I can't get it out of my mind. Like my man is really good, and it was like I don't even remember his Clipper career because like he's turned into this all
Right.
star with OKC.
Then when you go back and look at the research on the trades, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this person was just a throw in. Okay, we'll just throw this guy in there just to make it look good. Then they
Yeah,
end up being a star, which is horrible. But
yeah.
definitely with the FIBA World Games, we were definitely missing rebounding and strong defense is what really killed us.
Amongst other
We got
things.
yeah months, but
Amongst
like
other
the game like against Lithuania and Germany, we really got beat bad on the boards. They could have sent somebody like Jared Allen over there. Jared Allen of the
Cavaliers.
believe he plays for the Cavaliers now. He's a
Mm-hmm.
rebounder. He's not worried about scoring. You know, if he get a bucket, he's good. But he'll go out there and get you 15, 16 rebounds, 4 or 5 blocks, easy, just by stepping on the floor. Like
Mm-hmm.
if we would have had a big like him out there, that we would have made a big difference. A
Yeah.
big difference.
Man, I think again, I think this loss was good, and here's why: because I think it will galvanize the stars amongst stars. We sent some stars over there, but I think there's some like
Right.
stars, next level stars amongst stars, some Hall of Famers, if you will, that we can send. And I think
Hmm.
we need to do this to reassert ourselves as the dominant country as it relates to basketball. Again, there's some guys from
I
different
agree.
that are hoopers. But I think if we send the best of the best, USA is going to come out with gold. And I think we need to do that. I do. I really think we need to do that.
Yeah, we have to. It ain't no holding back. If we beat somebody 150-10, I don't care. That's what it is.
Listen, if you are subject to if you step on the
Right.
floor, you are subject to getting beat bad. I think one of the coaches said if you don't want us to blow you out, then do something different. So that's my theory on it. That's my theory. This is not like
Right.
yeah.
I definitely agree with you on that. If you step on a field or if you step on a court, you are subject to a beat down. And with that being said, I think you should stay outside the lines
I
if you
like
don't
that
want to get beat
transition.
down.
I like the assist,
So
man.
with
You turned into John Stockton. I'm Karl Malone. That was a wonderful assist. I like that segue. So my outside the lines tonight is I want to talk about Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, which the whole world knows about at this point. And outside the lines, for those not in the know, is simply a segment toward the end of our show where I talk about something that it's sports related, but it's not necessarily within the lines of the field. And what I want to talk about is
right,
Coach Prime, the example that he is setting for fatherhood. I think Coach Prime is doing an incredible
hmm
job of setting an example of fatherhood for not just black men, but men in general. The idea of a father is to be a protector, provider, and a priest for your kid. And I think that Deion Sanders is doing an incredible job. No matter where he's gone with coaching, he's had Shador and Shiloh, his sons, with him. So every opportunity that he's presented with, he's making sure his kids go along. So those opportunities are now presented to
right,
them. He has his daughter with him. She played basketball at Jackson State. I don't know if she'll play for Colorado. In addition to that, he's actually hired Deion Sanders Jr. as his social media person. And so now it becomes a
wow,
family operation. And as a father of twins
hmm
myself, I just look at it. I said, this is an amazing thing because the opportunity that he's been presented with, he is making sure his kids take advantage of those opportunities. So I think Coach Prime is teaching the world a lot but I don't think that people are giving him enough credit for what he is doing as a father, because as he elevates, just as a byproduct of his success, he's bringing his kids right along with him. So I think it's amazing. And that's my outside the lines. And just a quick
awesome
side note,
outside the line.
I just checked the score. The Orioles are up in the top of the third, 1-0. So we need to keep that going.
Yes,
and then
we definitely need to keep that going.
30-17. G Long, really quick. I need to hear a Ravens score. So I have this in mind because I kept receipts. I kept receipts of some of the scores from last week. I kept some receipts.
Okay.
What is your Ravens Bengals prediction for week 2?
I'll say Ravens 24-17. Ravens.
Solid. That's a solid score.
And tonight, the Eagles are playing the Vikings, correct?
Correct. Now with the score, this is my squad. So I want you to tread lightly here, G. Tread lightly.
I'm gonna go. Actually, I'm gonna go against the grain tonight, and I'm gonna go 17-14.
Ooh.
A tight game. Vikings.
Ooh. As the
17.
Kids, as the kids say, as the 5-year-old would say when you're about to give them like some spinach. Ooh. Ooh. No. All right. So this is what I'm going to give you my predictions really quick. I'm going Philly 30-17 tonight. I think Philly, the offense really kicks in. I think Jalen Hurts is responsible for at least 3 touchdowns. And Sunday, your Ravens headed to Cincinnati, 1:00 start. I am actually going Joe B, Jamar Chase. And who that say they're going to beat them Bengals? I am going with the Bengals 27-20.
Still a tight game.
Yeah, 27.
But we'll see. We'll check. So, got you. 27-20 Bengals, you say. And I say, yep. We'll definitely see. It was an awesome show, and we thank y'all for joining us on the Taking Head Sports Show. And we'll see y'all next week. Holla at your boys, and we out.
We out.
Go Orioles.
Orioles, Philly.
You was on board tonight. Orioles, Ravens. All right, bro. I'll holla at you.
All right, have a great one.